Hi, I'm Chris James, and you're watching A Healthy Alternative. Today, we're going to be discussing one reason why you may be doing your fasting completely wrong. Stay tuned.
We're missing a piece of the puzzle. You start getting healthy and you just become a better person. We need to start focusing more on the individual.
Okay, so today we're going to be talking about stacking your fasting versus doing long-term fasting, and while your fasting methodology may be completely wrong for the outcomes that you're looking to achieve. One of the things I want to point out up front is when it comes to fasting, if your goal is mental clarity, spiritual awareness, energetic healing, some of the deeper, richer things that people are looking to experience or heal while they're fasting, you're going to be needing to do longer fasts. Some of you have been looking for this deeper healing, some of these other types of things that are not so much physical, not so much physical diseases, but are, more energetic or deal with different parts of our being. And you're not able to get those results because you've been fasting for short durations of time. And I want to point out something. If your goal is to get to, spiritual enlightenment or enrichment, and you've heard me say that you need to be doing 10 plus days of fasting in order to get to that point. If you've been trying to stack your fasting, meaning you do 5 days here, take a break, do another 5 days, that's 10 days, right? Or maybe you're doing an alternate day fasting schedule and you've been at it for 20 days, meaning that you've done a total of 10 days of fasting, and you're expecting the spiritual awareness, the enlightenment, the energetic healing, and all those such things. You're expecting it to come into play, and you're not seeing it happen, and you're wondering why. Maybe your goal is weight loss. Okay, so we'll take it back a little bit. Maybe your goal is weight loss, but you've been, you're listening to me talk about how on average you're losing about 2 pounds a day with weight loss and, these sorts of things. And so you've adopted an intermittent fasting schedule. Okay, with each one of these examples, these are examples of stacking fasting. With intermittent fasting being probably the least most effective in these examples, where you're just doing 16 hours. You're not even doing a full 24 hours. So you're pretty much stacking 16 hours every day or 18 hours every day. Unfortunately, these sorts of fasts are not going to often get you to your goals. Now, with the physical things, and this is why I kind of didn't really include it at first, with the physical things, whether it's disease in the body or weight loss, you can eventually get to that point by stacking. Of course, it's going to happen much slowly than maybe you might want it to. And also it's going to benefit you greatly to adapt a healthy eating habit while you're using, something like intermittent fasting. And so eventually you can kind of reach your goal. But as it relates to the other things we mentioned, you could probably get there over a period of time if you're very consistent and very strict about your dietary regimen. But I just have not found anyone that has been that consistent and, has been that good with their diet to where I can really quantify that data, if that makes sense. I would say that it certainly is possible, but it's almost like, okay, it's possible to ride a tricycle from New York City to LA, but you'd probably rather get on an airplane and fly. You know what I'm saying? So with, the other methods of fasting, the long-term fasting, what we're talking about is getting on an airplane and flying, if that makes sense. Okay, so for those who are looking to experience the spiritual enlightenment, awareness, and things like that, you're going to be doing 10 days or more with your fasting cycles. Remember, as it relates to like religious beliefs and how they fast, that 40-day golden number is repeated throughout history. Several different people have done these fasts. I have noticed that depending on how long you're fasting, different things happen and you get different revelations. So there is definitely something special about certain days. Depending on how long you fast, the body is going to do different things, okay? The first 3 days of fasting, you may see benefit from fasting within first 3 days, but the body really doesn't start the deep healing, even for the physical ailments and weight loss and things, until day 3. Really, the first thing the body's going to do is get rid of your glycogen reserves, okay? And so depending on, your eating habits and blah, 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 it might take 12 hours, it might take 16 hours, it might take a day. It just depends. What I have noticed is around between day 5 and day 8-ish, depending on where you are in your detox cycle and your fasting journey, that's when you typically are going to experience the mental clarity, the extra energy, the overall feeling of vitality, okay? Now, it doesn't happen every time. You could be fasting 4 or 5 times and you may not experience it, but I'm saying that when I do experience it personally, or when I've been speaking to people who experience it, it tends to trend around that time frame, okay? As I mentioned earlier, as you want to start getting into some of the spiritual things and the mental healing, that's 10 plus days, all right? And so I just wanted to do this video to outline that, if you're looking to get to some of these goals, and you're not at a place where you feel like you could do the longer fasts, understand that it's a goal that you need to reach. And it's important to get to this place for everybody. Even if it's not your focus, you benefit so greatly from being able to increase the amount of time you could fast, because you get so much benefit from it, all right? Even if your goal is weight loss, if your goal is weight loss and you're doing 14-day fast, 21-day fast, 30-day fast, you're going to lose weight so much more quickly than someone who is doing an alternate day fasting schedule or OMAD schedule, right? So the consistency definitely does benefit you, and is going to make your journey a little bit easier, because you're gonna reach your goal a little bit quicker, if that makes sense. With all that being said, this is not a race. This is your journey. You could take as much time as you want, but what I would say is, if you don't feel like you're ready to do some of the longer fasts, focus on preparation, right? Now, if you're doing the short fasts and you've never really attempted any long fast, then it's a good opportunity for you to challenge yourself a little bit. We had a lady on the channel last year, I think it was. She was from Belize, and I just had the most amazing time speaking to her. But one of the methods that she would use to help her with her fasting was a gradual increase to her fasting weekly. So, for example, she would fast for a day, and then she would eat for a day. She would fast for 2 days, and then she would eat for 2 days. She would fast for 3 days, and she would eat for 3 days. You see where I'm going with this? So she would pretty much fast for the same amount of time that she ate, and gradually kind of build her up to doing longer fasts and things of that nature. And I just thought that was such a cool way to, go about fasting. There's many different things you could do to get your mind ready for fasting, but also to prepare your body. I guess at the end of the day, the thing you want to keep in mind is that fasting is kind of like a muscle. So you do need to work it out. If you're just lifting 10 pounds and that's all you lift and you never lift anymore, yeah, it's going to be beneficial, but there's kind of a peak, right? Like you're going to need to challenge your muscles a little bit more in order to stimulate them to grow. And so if you're doing intermittent fasting or 1 meal a day and you've never tried the long-term fasting, or maybe you've tried the long-term fasting and you felt like you couldn't do it, you weren't ready, maybe trying something a lot more gradual, but consistently being, increasing your fasting time would be more beneficial for you, so you can get to a point where you are able to do some of the long-term fasts. Also, paying more close attention to your dietary strategy along with your increased fasting is going to help a lot, because what makes fasting so difficult are the detox symptoms, and the detox symptoms tend to come from bad eating habits or overall poor consumption. And then, of course, not clearing the elimination pathways so that when the toxicity is trying to leave the body, that it can do so very easily. You want to make sure that you're doing all of these things as you're preparing yourself to do some of these longer fasts, so you can get some of the benefits that maybe you've been looking to get or you've been missing out on. Because I get people telling me, hey, Chris, you said I was going to, get this experience the mental clarity or the fasting energy, and I have never experienced that before. And it may just be that you're stagnant in your fasting. For those of you who are interested in learning more about fasting, getting more comprehensive information, don't forget to check out the AHAfastingacademy.com, okay, where I've got a series of videos and courses on there to help you learn and build up your fasting muscle. So I just wanted to bring some awareness to this topic. I really appreciate all the support and everything that you guys have been giving me for the past few years. I do want to let you all know, I've mentioned earlier that I have been writing a book, and I am finally getting to the point where it's kind of like becoming a whole complete cohesive thought, and I'm looking at, book cover ideas and release dates and all these sorts of things. So it's going to be coming pretty soon. I'm very, very excited. I'm proud of what I have so far. It's not finished yet. There's still much more to do, but I know I was talking about it. I've been telling you I'm going to be doing this book, and I took some time off and I didn't finish it. And so now I am doing it. I've been very consistent with making sure we're going to get it done. So that'll be coming out soon. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. If you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe. And as always, the application of knowledge is power. And I will see you all next time.